enough.
Not too many years ago, when dreams weren't coming true,
Jesus.
I'd reach for inspiration. Sometimes it would be you. I'd hear you on the radio. I sure didn't like your sound. Say it's good to know there's still a few country boys around. Imus in the morning.
Well, if you want to know the best thing about going to Mohegan Sun this summer,
Ferris right down the line. Fair ball, home run, McGuire. 2 yesterday, 2 today. 51 for Mark McGuire.
Big Mac on the attack. Good morning, Mike Greenwood Sports. Bob Murphy, the call on WFAN. Mark McGuire on one of those spurts. 4 home runs his last 3 games. And now just 11 shy of breaking Roger Maris's record. And he still has 36 games to play. Guards split a doubleheader with the Mets yesterday, but it was McGuire who made everyone jump. Before the twin bill, he met with the media and talked about a number of things, like how he's turned his attitude around from being surly and rude to now being an understanding man.
Hopefully if somebody's listening to this or somebody's going to read, that's a ball player in college or minor leagues and going through a rough time, I'm a perfect example that you can turn things around.
And he's done it. As for how he does it on the field, McGuire talked about the keys to his success.
All I know is that this game is 99% mental.
And he said the other 10% is physical. McGuire, though.
Is it 99%? Did he say that?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's... Well, you got to have some ability, don't you?
You have to have big Popeye arms like he has.
Well, I don't care. I was listening to Francesa yesterday, and as I said before, they were carrying this press conference live on the radio station. It's a sports radio station around in New York. And the guy sounded great. I mean,
he's starting to get it.
He's starting to get it. I'm pulling for him. I have that Direct TV, which you should get, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? So I watch these Cardinal games whenever I can.
Right.
And they got a pretty good team, actually. I don't know why they haven't. I don't know why they're not doing better than they're doing. But Langford and some of those other people are actually some pretty good players.
A lot of injuries early on the pitching staff, I man.
But
game is 99% pitching. Well, McGuire, though, has another problem to deal with now. Rumors that opposing pitchers are serving up easy pitches. Listen to Met pitcher Willie Blair. He gave up number 50 yesterday.
He's an awesome player, and he's a special player. So, he deserves all the credit in the world.
He sounds a little lovey-dovey to me. Read between the lines on that one. He served up the easy gopher ball. It's something that McGuire's going to have to deal with. Also from baseball, Yankees lose again. 2 in a row to the Twins.
when does the baseball season end? Sometime in October? Or
Correct.
In October?
Yeah. They always play the first week in October, then the postseason.
Okay, so he's got...
36 games left.
And he has to hit...
11 to break it, as we previously mentioned.
Mike is smart.
Well, it's not a given, is it?
No, absolutely not.
Well, I hope he does it. I want to see him do it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him do it today. How many at-bats? They're playing a doubleheader today, right?
They can get 8, 9 at-bats.
So he could get 8 or 9 at-bats.
Sure. A couple of extra inning games, he can get up 12 times.
Get it over today.
Let's wind this thing up.
The Yankees lose again, 2 in a row. The Minnesota Twins swept them in the mini-series, 9-4 the final yesterday. Manager Joe Torre's explanation?
They weren't a good team tonight.
Nope. Yanks lead in the East, now cut to 46.5 games.
Well, Mark McGuire hits home runs like those guys do in professional softball. You know how they, those professional softball games that end 51-49.
Yeah.
There's an article in the paper here this morning, the New York Post. The headline reads, Imus's comic sidekick getting a new life. So this is another example of Bartlett positioning himself as playing a greater role on the program than is actually the case, isn't it?
Oh, no.
Now, where do they get this information, this thing written by Ward Morehouse here in a column called On and Off Broadway? Bartlett has been a principal writer and performer on Imus in the Morning National Syndicated Radio Program. He is also Well, I guess that's true, isn't it?
Sure it is.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. I was just looking for something
To handle.
Now, of course, this Broadway comedy that Rob's doing, that stars him, that he wrote, is going to open at the Brooks Atkinson Theater on October 1st, and of which I am a modest investor in this show. So
Yeah.
So you may want to factor that in when I'm humping the program, the hump of the show for you to go see it. Although
I'll make that keep you away.
I don't expect to make a great deal of money if it runs forever. So, but we were told it was going to be at the Eugene O'Neill Theater, so right away we're getting jerked around.
Here we go.
Getting
hosed. See?
It's scheduled to open. Well, they're going to launch this thing, so.
Great.
And it better, because see, let's just say that it gets hammered.
Who's that a reflection on?
It's a reflection on me and on this program.
You don't need that.
And so.
No way.
Plus, there goes the money down the drain. That's
Right.
another consideration.
Well, see this thing fly, man.
Yeah, so let's not have a Cape Man deal here.
Imus in the morning.
It's Friday morning, August 21st, and you're listening to Radio Bermuda.
Yes,
I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. I want a hand, take me by the hand. Pretty mama, come and dance with your daddy all night long. I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. Imus in the morning.
Their mission is to deliver financial service.
Hello, all. How'd things go for you today? Don't you miss her? Since she up and walked away. And I'll bet you dread to spend another lonely night with me. But lonely walls, I'll keep you company. Imus in the morning.
All right, 19 till the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. Rob Bartlett and the Bartletts appearing to Rascals, Ocean Township, New Jersey tomorrow night.
2020 Sports. McGuire waiting on a 2-1 delivery. High fly ball hit deep to left field. Way back, it might do it. Let's watch. Gone, a home run. McGuire, his 50th home run of the year. Mark McGuire is the first man in the history of baseball to hit 50 home runs 3 consecutive years.
Milestone for Big Mac. Good morning, Mike Greenwood Sports. Bob Murphy, the call. WFAN, the sportscast sponsored by Hackensack University Medical Center. Mark McGuire hit 2 in the Cards doubleheader split with the Mets. Now has 51 with 36 games to play. Needs just 11 to break Roger Maris's record. McGuire spoke with the New York media before yesterday's twin bill and said much of what he does is mental.
Your mind is the strongest thing on your body.
Speak for yourself. I got something else a little stronger there, Big Mac. Maybe he's got one of the... Well, never mind. But McGuire has turned around his attitude. He's starting to enjoy it more and love the wonderful ovations he received from the Met fans at Shea yesterday.
Wow, I mean, what a reception. I mean, I looked up in the stands, and it looked like it was almost a full house, and they were rooting me on, and, I mean, what can you say? Thank you very much.
It's went over a lot of fans with the change of attitude.
Well, you know, somebody either talked to him or he came to his senses because he is...
Listening to the Ironman. Could have gotten that
I
message.
sort of doubt that, but my point is that, you know, he's seen... I listened a little bit... the last thing I'm going to do is... Well, I listen to Francesa once in a while because I like him, but... I listened to his press conference that Ted Brain was talking about yesterday. They broadcast live on this radio station in New York, WFAN, and I mean, it sounds like what he is, a nice kid or guy.
Decent guy.
And, you know, nobody wanted Roger Maris to break Babe Ruth's record. Remember that?
No, I absolutely
I
do.
don't remember it, but I mean,
Yeah.
and everybody who I know would like to see Mark McGuire do it.
Mhm.
Even people like me who are not huge baseball fans.
Right. Casual fans.
But, you know, my wife's actually a bigger baseball fan than I am. But, Charles is a huge baseball fan.
Yeah, Cardinal fan.
Brain and I are into wrestling, car races, and football.
You go NASCAR.
And of course, Breen said that the Giants are going to beat the Jets in this exhibition game. And of course, as you know, the people we have on predicting sports, you and my brother, it's just dismal. Really, it is dismal. And then this coming football season, on Mondays we're going to have Boomer Esiason, and on Fridays we're going to have one of the guys from the Fox show, either that bald-headed nitwit Terry Bradshaw, goof Howie Long, or Chris Collingsworth.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just so now you're talking about essentially 5 morons talking about football.
Well, speaking of football, Jets did defeat the Giants 27-23. Nice turnaround for the Jets, who had lost 33-0 in their previous game. So Bill Parcells should be happy. Here's one of his post-game comments.
We got to get a better job out of both our kickers. I thought that was just generally very poor tonight by both of them. So I'm not ripping anybody, so I don't want to say Parcells rips anybody. I'm not ripping. I didn't think they did a good job.
Nobody didn't rip your pants, you moose.
That's where the kickers could practice. Come on, Coach. That buddy. God, cheer up, aren't you?
I mean, lighten up, you fat. I mean, this guy's going to have a stroke.
He did have some good things to say, as he was grilled afterwards by Jets radio analyst Dave Jennings.
Bill, can you talk about the job that Glenn Foley did tonight?
Foley did a good job.
Get away from me, Dave.
Buddies to the end.
Can you talk about the job? I mean, you know, you do have to commiserate with the coach, don't you, Charles?
A little bit. Yes, you do.
That he has to answer questions from some nitwit like Dave Jennings. He's a nice guy, but Dave Jennings is, but
gets right up there and says, Coach.
I mean, it's just
I like that. It's like
wants to be confrontational and.
Coach, what'd you think of
Could you talk a little bit about? Shut up. No.
No, Dave, you're a kicker. Get away from me.
That's what he should have said. What do you know about football?
You don't know anything. Get away. You're not a football player.
Go to the back of the room, please.
Coach Parcells, man, what a piece of work. I mean, that's just a real head case, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He's going to bring a shotgun into
We
the
love
room
him.
one day.
We do. Oh, we do love him. Oh, no, this has nothing to do. I love the guy.
No, we're just concerned about him.
No, I mean, he's a great football coach. He's got a great sense of humor. He's not a dope, but he's a real mental case,
He's
you know.
wound tight.
Yeah, I mean, he's a real head case.
Let's get him on the show. You can reach out and help him.
He's as much of a whack job as any player who's ever played football. I mean, come on here.
The following political announcement was paid for by the Democratic National Committee.
Hello, this is Ted Kennedy. I appear before you today in my role as a senior party spokesman to address a grave concern. My heart is heavy, for the awesome responsibility has fallen to me to represent Democrats everywhere in sending a message to our embattled President, William Jefferson Clinton, in this, his darkest hour. Mr. President, the message from all of us is the same. We speak with one voice. Get out. Yes, resign. And take that rutting swarm of Arkansas hayseeds with you, and especially your uppity wife. It pains me deeply to have to speak to you in these harsh terms, but your behavior, or as you put it, your lapse of judgment, leaves the party no alternative. You were having a 21-year-old intern go down on you in the Oval Office? I don't even believe my brother Jack would have done that. History doesn't tell us, and I can't be sure, but I choose to give his memory the benefit of the doubt. Be that as it may, I recognize it may strike some as hypocritical for me, Ted Kennedy, to be urging the president to resign over an untoward episode with a woman. However, may I remind that my untoward episode with a woman did not involve anything prurient. I merely drowned her. Not at all the sort of salacious activity Mr. Clinton is alleged to have done in this distressing circumstance. I also believe it's germane to note that Kennedys, historically, have held to higher standards of selection and decorum. To illustrate my point, my late brother was porking Marilyn Monroe and assorted movie starlets in areas of the White House where the conduct of governance was not taking place. The swimming pool, the kitchen, and so forth. He was not, as is the case with President Clinton, porking rejects from the Jerry Springer show. Mud, ugly women, and the world leaders who gagged them 5 feet off the Oval Office. And so, let the word go forth from this time and place. Mr. President, we see but 2 paths open to you. If it is not to be resignation, then might I suggest a road less traveled. A road I have traveled. A road that works. The process is not complicated. You're vacationing at Martha's Vineyard. Call you-know-who. Say to her, all is forgiven. You've already led her to believe you'll dump Hillary for her when your term is up. She'll come running. After a welcoming beach party, suggest a moonlit drive. Hang a hard left at the sign, Chappaquiddick Bridge, this-a-way, and floor it. Yes, you'll get wet, but if your experience is the same as mine, you'll lose a witness and save a career. Mr. President, you can overcome this personal Waterloo. Indeed, the unfortunate phrase, BJ, need not spell the end for you.
Can overcome what, Senator?
Here's Waterloo. You know, where Napoleon met his defeat at Water...
Yeah, sure.
No. Why don't you eat me, you bastard?
So Rob just calls me. I called Rob last night.
Yeah, and you just hung up on him 3 minutes ago.
I hung up on Rob, and here's
Why?
why. Well, I'll tell you why. Because he calls last night. His mom answers the phone. Clearly, she was drinking. And she's supposed to be taking care of the kids. And
What are
she...
you talking about?
man, no.
What is the matter with you, idiot?
Anyway,
God.
I called Rob last night, and he doesn't call me back. So who knows where he was? What time did you get home?
12:30.
All right, there's your answer.
Okay, where were you?
Apologize.
Well, I was out having an affair.
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Call back with something funny, would you?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Okay.
That didn't take long.
Speaking of that, here is C. Vernon Mason. Good morning, C.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. If Rob's having an affair, it'd probably be catered.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Have you ever wanted to be the one on the radio? Look.
Let me tell you something, Don.
Yeah.
We're very happy to be here. I want you to think about it and
I'm not
ponditate.
happy to be
You're not happy to be
Get
here?
the hell out of here.
Joey, if you weren't here, you don't have a
Where
job.
would you be?
Where would you be, Joey?
Some massage parlor.
Digging a hole somewhere. Checking you out. 40 calls.
Delight escort service.
He got 40,
Handful of $100 bills.
40 calls to New York Magazine.
You don't
know he's been doing?
let you in the joint with that neck of yours.
Nobody knows about it. I'm going to tell him the He got 40 calls to New York Magazine.
66
For
calls.
personal count. He's been dating these girls for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
don't go there.
And my good friend Bean doesn't know that.
Ad in New York. You really put an ad in New York Magazine?
I don't believe.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're pathetic.
I'm telling you.
And let me tell you, what he does? He tells the
Buy a
girls that
dog.
he's
I don't have any
40-ish.
friends.
He's 40-ish with an athletic.
Mike and Lionel on a
Look, he looks like he's got nails in his kneecaps.
I didn't date all of them. I didn't date
Wandering
any
around
of them. in fact.
your neighborhood in a bathrobe. So you're about a week from that.
Well, we're gonna miss you.
You're gonna
Don,
miss you.
Don,
We're
we're
gonna
gonna
chair
miss
to
you.
push you around
We're gonna
after a
miss you.
while.
What's this thing with Howard Stringer, Boy? You're talking about Howard
Howard
Stringer?
Stringer's in the take.
I don't know. It's
Let me tell you
not
something.
important.
Fine man. He's a dear friend of mine. He's been up to Rayos with me.
Howard
He's
Stringer.
an excellent vice chairman of Sony. He oversees the whole thing.
Yeah, here he
the
is.
man's
He's in the
got
tank. I'm
class.
telling you, he's in
I'm
the
not
tank.
in the tank, but anytime there's a Sony movie, I perk up because I
Perks
know
up,
it
sure.
has great references.
Because
You know, you're the first
that
one.
envelope, that thick
You're
envelope
the first
you get.
one to go in the tank for everybody. I
Let me
mean,
tell you
it's
something.
unbelievable.
Do me a favor. The next 2 weeks,
When he was a
watch,
cop, he was
watch
legitimate.
my
Go
president.
stick Joey's head
Watch
in the
my
toilet.
president.
Shut up.
Just shut up while I'm introducing Francesa, Fred. Is the one half of Mike and the Mad Dog, and a man who hosts his own nationally syndicated sports football show on Sunday mornings around the country. Mike Francesa. Good morning, Mr. Francesa.
Good morning, Don.
Say hi to my brother, Fred.
Hello, Fred. How are you?
I've lost all confidence in your ability to pick games.
I never had any in yours.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Have you ever heard an announcer in your life kiss up to an analyst as much as Breen kisses up to Lofton? Good point, James. You would have caught that, James.
Well, I know this sounds a little funny, Mike, but some people do work with people that they actually enjoy being with.
We know one thing, Greeny. It's not early in the morning for you.
This will be the first week we're going to see one announcer choke another one.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Getting information from information isn't always.
Next, South Lawn. Batman vacations with his family on Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, yeah, this is a really great vacation. I'm ready to get Ted Kennedy to drive me off a bridge.
Yet, despite the swirling controversy, he still finds it difficult to control his urges.
I tell you, if I don't get laid pretty soon, my head is going to explode. I got a chubby so bad at the beach yesterday, I could tell time off my shadow.
Paralyzed with depression, he cancels his golf date with friend Vernon Jordan.
Oh, that's okay, my sweet little cracker.
I figure to mess you in now, the lastest thing you be wanting to see is another bunch of holes.
Meanwhile, reports indicate that a DNA sample was taken.
Okay, give me a penthouse, a shot glass, and about 3 minutes, and you'll have your sample, all right?
Then, as Starr prepares to release his report, rumors about the details of the sordid sexual encounter begin to surface.
So I gave her a few cigars, and she stuck him in a humidor. What's the big deal?
Really sordid details.
Okay, I wore her dress. That's how the stain got on it. You happy now?
Really disgusting and despicable details.
All right, I made her wear a blue suit and a white wig so it looked like I was getting a BJ from Newt Gingrich. There, I said it.
South Lawn. The fat lady sang, but will Fat Man admit it's over?
Mr. President, come out. They have the White House surrounded.
Oh my God, dude, the First Lady just shot the president.
No, children. She just put the gun to his head. He pulled the trigger himself.
Imus in the morning, 2020 sports. Let's go to the audio tape.
High drive, deep to left. With a Steve Ferris right down the line. Fair ball, home run, McGuire. 2 yesterday, 2 today. 51 for Mark McGuire.
11 shy of breaking the record. Good morning, Mike Breen with Sports. Bob Murphy, the call. WFAN, the Sportscast sponsored by Subaru.
How many games left?
36. As I've said all along.
What have you said? What have you said this time?
He's going to shatter it.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not only has McGuire hit 4 home
Throughout
runs.
the year, how many home runs does he hit every 36 games? We don't know that.
That'd be a good way to figure it out.
No.
Well, you know.
Because he can go sometimes 5 or 6, 7 games without hitting a home run, right?
Right. And then hit a cluster as he has here in the past,
Yeah.
you know.
4 in 2 days.
That's the way he's always done it.
Right.
But he can hit 16 in a month, 17 in a month. And he's
He
got
can.
over a month.
I hope he does.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not only has he hit 4 in the last 3, he's changed his attitude, gone from being surly to being upbeat and happy. Yesterday, when a reporter asked him if he's feeling the pressure, McGuire just laughed at him. Good to see he has a sense of humor coming out.
Good to see that
Sounds
you're so
happy.
later than ever.
McGuire, though, really did have a nice long chat with the New York media yesterday, and he showed his positive side.
This game is about failure, and it can really beat you up.
There's a nice new sunny disposition from Big Red, but for the first time ever, he admitted the record could be in jeopardy.
I'd have to say that I do have a shot.
He's never said that over the past couple of years when he was up in the 50s. He's hit 50 plus 3 consecutive years. So when he starts saying it, you can start believing it.
Kiss of death.
Well, I hope the guy makes it, don't you?
Yeah, I would like to. He is a good guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, and
kid.
he seems like a nice
Yeah,
guy, and
yeah.
I don't know.
Somebody got to him.
If anybody's gonna, why not him? There you go.
Well, it's, I mean, he'll be a lot happier, even with this enormous media scrutiny that he's under. He'll be much happier the rest of the year. I mean, he'll be fine.
Right.
He's got a great attitude about it. He understands people are coming out to see him. He's reconciled that now. The Cardinals suck this year.
It's different than when Maris went through it. Everybody wants him to do it. No one wanted Maris.
Right.
In fact, even his own teammates wanted Mantle to do it, not Maris.
Yeah, so. And it'll be probably Sammy Sosa who does it.
He probably will.
In golf, the PGA
What happened to Ken Griffey? He's just not having it.
faded away.
Right.
Yeah.
Fell off the map.
Sprint International, the event for the PGA tournament this week. First round leader, Vijay Singh, who won the PGA championship last week. Jim Carter, 1 point back, is Tiger Woods. But Tiger was not happy with the conduct of the gallery yesterday.
Today, people were taking pictures in our swings and stuff, and it's just ridiculous. There's not a line on the golf course, and it should be taken away like at Augusta.
He wants them to take away their cameras. Poor Tiger, upset.
How does he handle it? Well, it's pressure.
A lot of pressure he's under.
It is.
There you go. And that's sports. I'm Mike Breen.
It's coming up on the top of the hour here on the Imus of the Morning program. Ted Kennedy and the Bill Clinton Diaries, plus Rush Limbaugh coming up. This is WFAN in New York. It is time for the local news, and here with that is Charles McCoy. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, I-Man. Among the top stars.
This is Julius
and Ethel
Rosenberg. Did you know that the majority of dead people are Jews? 85% of all dead people are Jewish. So remember, if you persecute Jews when you're alive, boy, are you going to get it when you're dead.
Imus in the morning.
All right, let me talk to you about the New York Times, baby. Let me talk to you about the New York Times. Go out there. When big news breaks, you can depend on the New York Times to give you more background and more detail than any other source. Today's New York Times is the perfect example. It digs into the evidence that the administration had for making the strikes and why the specific date was chosen. It has a detailed portrait of Osama bin Laden and his hatred for Americans. And it describes the security of American cities, military bases, and embassies. Get all the details in just a great newspaper, the New York Times. You can subscribe as, well, Fred does. He gets it every day out there in Santa Fe. You can get it wherever you are, Kansas City or Tampa, wherever you happen to be listening. I'm up there in Detroit. Call 1-800-NYTIMES to ask about home delivery. The New York Times. Expect the world.
Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash.
Senator Edward Kennedy here on the Imus in the Morning program. Rob Bartlett and the Bartletts, don't y'all forget, going to be at Rascals in Ocean Township, New Jersey tomorrow night if you're going to be on the East Coast. Well, let's send this out to our Secretary of Defense, Mrs. Stone.
Nissan's early model year-end clearance offer new categories.
Dear Diary, well, we're here in Martha's Vineyard to spend 2 weeks amidst the healing powers of the sea. And I don't have to tell you, Diary, it's something Hillary and I sorely need. I'd really like to go for a walk along the shore with her, but I'm afraid she'll try to knock me down and hold my head under the water. She's been a little cool towards me ever since we got on the plane to come here. I really can't blame her. I've put her through an awful lot these past 7 months. Of course, it probably didn't help. The first thing I did when we got here was give Carly Simon a big hug and kiss. Oops. All in all, this is probably not going to be all that great a vacation. I was supposed to go golfing with Vernon Jordan, but I really don't feel up to it, so I'm going to tell him that he should just go ahead and caddy for somebody else. Love, Bubba.
It's 27 till the hour here in the Imus Morning Program. That's very nice.
Jeez. Idiot.
Well, the speculation, of course, in the current issue of Time magazine, there's the suggestion that the First Lady was aware of, or thought there was some truth to this.
Oh, tell three people, the Holy Ghost.
All right, here's Jimmy from Queens with the turning point situation. Jimmy, how you doing, baby?
Fine, Ivan. How are you?
I'm good. What was the mess turning point?
Mike Piazza's two-run homer.
Mike Piazza's what?
Two-run homer.
Oh, you're a winner! You're a winner! You're a winner!
You win $250 in cash in radio station, Jimmy.
Thank you, thank you.
And a gift certificate from PC Richard and Son.
Thank you.
Which is a hot steaming deal, isn't it?
It's definitely a high steaming deal. You're the best, man.
Oh, my God.
I love you, man.
My God.
Well, now you don't get it.
Off your knees. Imus in the morning. 2020 Sports.
Wow, I mean, what a reception. I mean, I looked up in the stands, and it looked like it was almost a full house, and they were rooting me on, and, I mean, what can you say? Thank you very much.
A happier, more relaxed Mark McGuire. Good morning, Mike Breen with sports, with not a care in the world. 12 minutes to go. Mark McGuire hit 2 home runs yesterday. He has 51, also has a new outlook on life, a positive outlook. Had a warm chat with the New York press yesterday, covering a plethora of topics, including the keys to his success.
All I know is that this game is 99% mental.
He said the other 10% is physical, and he expanded on his mental theory.
Your mind is the strongest thing on your body.
Of course, unlike brains.
Speak for yourself. Preseason football. Jets defeat the Giants 27-23. Important turnaround for the Jets, who had lost 33-0 in their previous game. But Coach Bill Parcells not happy with one aspect of his team.
We got to get a better job out of both our kickers. I thought that was just generally very poor tonight by both of them. So I'm not ripping anybody, so I don't want to see Parcells rips anybody. I'm not ripping. I said I didn't think they did a good job.
Right, okay.
There you go.
Settle down, fatso.
I mean, you got to relax, Tub Brain.
Just has a dude.
Man, doesn't he?
Yes.
Just looking, talk about somebody who projects. I mean, just looking for some problem.
He's looking for a fight.
Before there is a problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, park in another handicapped zone, you and...
Cruz has a chip on his shoulder constantly. Come on.
He did,
hard, bud.
He did have some good things to say, as this is the case after every game. He was harassed by Jets radio analyst Dave Jennings.
Bill, can you talk about the job that Glenn Foley did tonight?
Oh, he did a good job.
That was it.
There'll be a fist fight before this year's over between those two.
They've had some problems, right?
Dave and Bill?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yes, they have.
Oh, yeah, well, yes, they have.
Come on, Mike.
Would you like me to make something up?
Well, no. What are you talking about, Bernie?
Well, that Mike's brought in tapes of them having confrontations and altercations in the past.
Yeah, I mean, Dave asked these.
You know what it is? Mike has to co-host the show with the coach or something like that.
Oh, okay. Dave asked these unnecessarily adversarial confrontational questions about nothing.
Yes.
Just trying to, prove his manhood, which is highly suspect for anybody who was a punter in the National Football League. So
he had some problems with Rich Kotite, but he had a lot of success as a punter with Parcells with the Giants, so Bill cuts him a little slack.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Mike's hooking up to somebody.
there's something wrong
I gotta
here.
figure this
Who
out.
are you? Yeah, let's think about this.
Something smells.
You're hosting a football show, right? On which channel?
On Channel 4, NBC.
And who also is on the show with you?
Yeah. Jim Fossil, the head coach of the Giants.
Right.
It's nothing to do with Coach Parcells.
Now, who else?
Dave Jennings is doing a separate football show with Mike Francesa on the Jets. It's nothing to do with the show that I'll be on.
Are you and Francesa, are you and Jennings ever together on doing anything?
No.
We'll get to the bottom if there's something there.
I'm aghast at these accusations.
Oh, well, no, because you're the biggest butt boy on the planet. And we just have to figure out what the deal is.
I am what I am.
We know what you are. What else going on?
These allegations are false.
That's it. My brother's Tri-State Jeep Sports Lock of the Millennium is that Denver will beat Green Bay Monday night in Denver in an exhibition football game.
That's an important prediction.
Well,
friends out on a limb again.
I think there's a big psychological edge that one of these teams figures they can get. And Green Bay going up there looking for revenge, it's not going to happen. That's according to Fred. So. And that could be very suspect.
Beaver was a dreamer, never got it right. Died in living color, lived in black and white. Faithful as a magnify, hung up on a song. She cried down to the breakfast nook, wore their something wrong. Something wrong with the people. Something wrong with the people. Something wrong with the people. The people I believe is gone. Imus in the morning.
If you haven't had Pudgy's skinless chicken today, I'm Mr. Washington's senior political analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon.
Well, there we go. Imus in the morning. Now that is the way it should be done. And I'm here today to congratulate President William Jefferson Clinton on a brilliant speech, the State of his Organ Address. From the 37th president to the 42nd, congratulations, Bubber. Oh, if only I had handled things similarly back there during my own travail. Of course, I didn't have the advantage of the lens of history that Bubber did. I mean, the bastard went to school on me. Genius stuff. You go before the electorate when cornered like a venal, fang-bared rat and toss off a few lines of some flip-flop jibe significant of nothing except total responsibility while simultaneously blaming everybody, apologize to nobody, and head for Martha's Vineyard to watch your approval rating go to 100%. Now then, I don't know what struck you as most brilliant, Donna, but I was most moved by Bubber's assertion that when he testified about sex in his Paula Jones deposition, oh, and I love this, my answers, he said, were legally accurate. Does that make you want to weep or what? Legally accurate, because the court rules that while Moniker was having sex with him by, how to put this, lingually making his lizard leap. How's that?
Stupid.
Thank you. Anyway, by doing that, she was having sex with him, but he wasn't having sex with her. Even though, as she knelt there reverently in front of him, it was his probing protuberance that was lodged in her dental den.
She was blowing him.
Couldn't have put it better myself. But it was court approved, he told us. Is that perfect or what? Now, he did say it might have been a little old 18-month lapse in judgment, but that's nothing to condemn the man for. I mean, my God, he had an 18-month lapse. I had that 18-minute gap in the Rosemary Woods tape, remember?
Sure.
And there are other parallels, JD. Jesse Jackson came by the White House to pray with him. Well, I got Henry Kissinger there in the Oval Office, both of us praying like we were Jimmy Swaggart with Mike Wallace knocking on the door. And there is a matter that troubles me. The point Bubber made in justifying 7 months of lying through his teeth by saying he wanted to protect his family. That wasn't one of those celebrity lookalikes on the Today Show with Matt Lauer then, was it? That was the First Lady, right? How do you say you wanted to protect your family then when you march your wife out to face the firing squad to cover the fact you're back in the White House getting skull from some dizzy pom-pom chick you dragged off a rope line? Jesus. Oh, I conclude with a joke stolen from Scripps Howard, who got it from the guy Barnacle knows. Dan Quayle, Newt Gingrich, and Bubber get swept away in a Kansas tornado, okay? They wind up in the land of Oz. Now, Quayle says, great, I'm going to ask the wizard for a brain. Newt says, great, I'm going to ask the wizard for a heart. And Clinton goes, great, where's Dorothy? Ouch! And there you have the stained view through the Dick Scope today, I dude. Dick, Scope, and Stain, property of Dick Nixon, another disgraced president of the United States.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people.
Tell your mama, tell your pa, gonna say my dog is so no. Mama, they don't do right. Imus in the morning.
Copyright 1998, CBS Radio, all rights reserved. Imus in the Morning is a presentation of WFAN and Westwood One Entertainment.
This concludes the entertainment and revenue-generating portion of your broadcast day. We now return you to the rest of your local programming schedule. an indecipherable embarrassment of broadcasting incompetence that compelled the station to subscribe to the Imus in the Morning program in the first place. The entertainment and revenue-generating portion of the broadcast day, the Imus in the Morning program, will resume Monday morning. Check your local listings for time and schedule.
WFAN New York. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. I'm Joe Tollison. I really don't know. I'm Joe Tollison with 2020 Sports and WFAN, the flagship station for New York Mets baseball.
Sports Radio 66,
And good morning, everybody. Russ Salzberg with you here on this Friday morning, the 21st day of August, 1998. The number, as always, is 718-937-6666. And as always the case, this week anyway, seated to my right, my partner for the week, sitting in for Schmoozy, the Birdie, Iron Eagle, Russ and Iron, Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Where did double dip today?
Hey, you know what? Let him hit two more tonight, but hopefully tonight it's a sweep from a Mets perspective. Birdie, as always, it's a pleasure.
Russ,
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks to Turk Wendell. Fast Eddie, Davening Dove, Tolly with the updates. You the fans, still next week. Bye-bye, so long, and farewell.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN.
So Rob just calls me. I called Rob last night.
Yeah, and you just hung up on him 3 minutes ago.
I hung up on Rob, and
Why?
here's why. Well, I'll tell you why. Because he calls last night. His mom answers the phone. Clearly, she was drinking. And she's supposed to be taking care of the kids. And
What are
she...
you talking
man.
about?
No.
What is the matter with you?
Idiot. Anyway,
God.
I called Rob last night, and he doesn't call me back. So who knows where he was? What time did you get home?
12:30.
All right, there's your answer.
Okay, where were you?
Apologize.
I was out having an affair.
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Call back with something funny, would you?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Okay.
That didn't take long.
Speaking of that, here is C. Vernon Mason. Good morning, C.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. If Rob's having an affair, it'd probably be catered.
Imus in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. I'm Joe Tollison. Mets and Cubs, 81 degrees under partly sunny skies, and that's what's happening. I'm Joe Tollison with 2020 Sports and WFAN, the flagship station for the Imus in the Morning program, weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAN. They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's Mike and the Mad Dog on the Fan. Nothing can get by 'em, turn it on and try 'em. Mike and the Mad Dog, WFAN.
Francis, that's on the Fan on a Friday afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Dog on vacation. We'll be for all the next week, too, till we get back together and kind of steam into the fall and get ready for football that first week coming up as we head towards a late Labor Day and everything going on. And after a very, very busy Thursday night, I mean, for an August night, a late August night, that is a very, very busy and equally monumental.
Not very well.
Not odd.
So they wanted to fire me, but Jack Thayer, God bless him, told them that they wanted to... This is about one of the few general managers in the history of this business with any guts.
Bet.
And Jack told them that if they wanted to fire me, they had to fire him.
Now what?
So they didn't fire either one of us.
Right.
We were number one there in 64 days. So. That's kind of the way that went.
Enough with the war stories.
Did you hear the Zen Master's moving to New Canaan?
Really?
Yeah, in Lubica's house. Let's go to the empty suit catload general manager at the team in Washington, Ben Azir, who's on the hotline for some reason. What do you want?
Well, I just want to say, obviously none of these other stations are getting it right, so we're offering a seminar down here in Washington for all your affiliates on how to do the show right.
You know, you managed to get 2 segues right, by the way. We're going to continue checking you.
Oh, by the way, great sources you got down here. Jesus, what are they sitting in Watergate?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Now we have Rick from Providence. What do you want?
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
Well, why can't we tape you? What's the problem?
We just recently moved.
Well, what is this? Is this like a mobile radio station you have there in the back of a truck? You just drive around Providence?
Like a mash unit?
Yeah.
Like the old Scuds in Iraq.
A couple of weeks after putting on your show, we had to get out of town and move.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Been waiting for the 94s to come out to buy a new car? Thousands of nuclear warheads.
By the way, congratulations to WEE Imus in Boston, Massachusetts for running this program pretty much the way we wanted them to run it. The rating book is in. Even though we were only in the rating book for 7 of the 12 weeks of the rating book, we took it from a 2.6 to a 5.1.
Unbelievable.
In Boston and in Providence. And Providence has done one of the better jobs of the early stations online on the Imus and Morning program. We went from a 4.9 rating to a 7.
How about it?
Which was unheard of in the history of that radio station and any of these others. And in Washington, D.C., where they absolutely sabotaged this effort at the beginning, and when I went in the hospital in August, and by the way, never missed a show.
No.
The shows were better then than they are when I'm in the studio.
Clearly.
Clearly better. Decided to not carry the program, to jerk it around and put their own stuff on and try to overthink this.
Smart.
And we still went up there, but the ratings there are still embarrassing. And I'm embarrassed to be on that station in Washington, the team, and embarrassed at the ratings.
Frankly, want off of it.
And they have hooked the success of the radio station in Washington to the success of the Redskins. And if they're, and I understand the people love the Redskins, and I like the Redskins.
Sure, come on.
But that would be like this station in New York if we put all of our eggs in the Mets basket. Imagine where we'd be.
Oh, God.
So it's time that they wake up in Washington and stop screwing around with this program. Right? And it's not like Rush Limbaugh or Gordon Liddy or something where you can trade it out, where you don't have to pay for it. Stations have to pay for this program. So if you're going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to carry this program, at least for the initial phase of it, do what I ask you to do.
Why screw around?
I don't have all of the answers, but I know how to do this. Believe me. We took it from a 6 to a 10 in New York, again from a 2.6 to a 5.1 in Boston, and from a 4 to a 7 in Providence. And we don't have any other ratings from any other areas.
Thank God.
And in Washington, went up about a point, which is embarrassing. Because they wouldn't put us on the air. And
Wouldn't
because,
leave it alone.
I'm begging you, just turn it on and then leave the station.
He knows what he's doing.
We understand how to do this. I promise you it will work.
He's shown these successes for 50 years. Leave it alone.
50 years?
At least.
Well, 40.
No, I'm at least 35, 40 in that area.
I'm only 53. So that would be difficult.
No way.
It?
You looked in the mirror? Come on.
Yes, I have. It's been a tough 53 years, believe me. So anyway, but on a more serious note, I'm very happy for the people in Boston.
Yeah.
Even though during my hospitalization, when they panicked as well, they were going to ask for a rebate from Unistar. And the IMN knows all about that. And now what's happened? Now they're going to have to pay a bonus, aren't they?
Hello?
Egg-sucking, panty-sniffing, high-chair sniffing, licking goons. Pecker necks.
Absolutely.
Pecker necks. What do they think? I don't find this stuff out?
They think you're dumb. They
That's
think you're
just
out of the
ridiculous.
loop. You are the loop. Gee.
The only people we've had no problem with are the folks in Albany and Providence. And we never hear from Scranton. They're fine. And
yeah, they may be off the air. We don't know.
Kalamazoo's been fine so far. No problems with them, right, Bernie?
No problems.
Yeah.
Tampa's been fine.
Great. 2 thumbs up.
Huge problems with the marvelous manager in Boston, Aaron Daniels, but the program director is a jerk.
Right.
He's just done everything he could do to sabotage the program. And in spite of him, we've been successful there. Beyond their wildest dreams. Aaron Daniels, the very charming manager of the station in Boston, offered me his firstborn son.
I understand.
He was nearly in tears. In fact, I was uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm sure.
He was so grateful.
Yeah.
And I said, just please continue to listen to me, and this will work fine.
Take your hands off me.
God.
No, they
just turn it on in the morning and get in your car and drive away.
Butt out.
And come back at 10.
The one huge sore spot remains in the nation's capital.
Exactly, with that fat pantload Bennett Jeer. Now, they claim they've straightened themselves out, and we'll see.
Yeah.
When the results of the fall reading book come out sometime around Xmas. Now, it's 18 after 9. I'm now here on the phone with us live from Washington, D.C., Senator Alphonse D'Amato. Good morning, Senator D'Amato.
I don't have to be nice to you for 5 years, so shove it.
You absolutely don't.
What do you want me to do? Say, oh, how are you feeling? Do you feel better? Did Peter touch you the right way? Julianne, he's gonna go kiss you or you know what? Nick just wants to hang with you. Oh. You gonna play tennis with him? What you gonna do?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the Morning.
And I don't want to hear about your damn thing about health. Why do I care about your health plan?
Senator D'Amato, are you drunk?
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Make waves and save. Go live on the water at Caswell Cove in Milford, Connecticut, where you can own a terrific condominium with just $149.99 with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, a family room, and Georgia Whitkin here on the Imus Morning Program. Well, damn it, can somebody give me an idea what's going on here? You told me at the last damn possible second.
I gave you the L cue before.
I forgot it.
And I just told you again at the last second.
Well, I forgot it. I forgot it.
What?
Never mind what I said we were going to do before.
Say it, don't. What is that? Are you expecting to figure it out?
I'll come in there and grab you around your little neck.
Oh, you'll do nothing.
Oh, really? Oh, is that right?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the Morning on the Fan.
Well, I'm getting a punchline from Howard. As I'm getting it, stupid in there is telling me that's it. Well, that's what?
What should we have done?
I don't know. Write it on a piece of paper, bring it in here, have the intern bring it in here, and put it down in front of me because I can't remember it.
Senile.
I'm not senile, but
You're senile.
New policy.
Who are you? Where are we?
Imus in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
I used to feel good about my bank.
Bernard McGurk as Maya Angelou with a birthday poem for
How nice.
Mike Brain. As Angelou?
How y'all doing?
Fine.
Just wait a minute.
Yeah, fine.
All right, let's go. Brings the radio voice of the Nairobi Knicks. Sees them mugging and thugging and getting they kicks. Your team sucks, small fights, you stupid white boy. But a big happy birthday to Pat Ewing's boy toy.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the Morning.
Get these flies away from me. Hey,
Maya Angelou here, the I'm Still Morning Program.
my cheese doodles at.
Fine, you don't have any cheese doodles.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
I'm Mike Breen.
Baseball players are cool.
Yeah, they get to smack chicks around and get paid for it.
Yeah.
And throw M80s at people.
Yeah. Fire.
I want a job where I can get drunk, smoke in the dugout, and look up chicks' dresses in the stands.
Yeah. And press ham on the windows on the team bus when kids ask for autographs.
But going to practice would suck.
I like that guy Jim Abbott. He's cool.
Yeah, he must have held a lit M80 in his hand.
I bet that hurt.
I once got this kid at camp to hold a lit cherry bomb in his butt.
Did it blow up?
Nah, he got so nervous he hosed his shorts and it put the fuse out.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Imus in the morning.
The world through a Dick's eye, that of Dick Nixon, political analyst and frequent contributor to the Imus in the Morning show. Here now, commentary and observations on some of the principal issues of the day. Issue 1,
the host of this program, Mr. Imus himself. Talk about your profiles in courage, an inspiring story, lung collapse, major surgical repair, and through it all, stoically refusing to surrender to affliction. But now causing concern among those who have such a great affection for him in this folly of rushing back to the studio. Well, if I may direct these comments to you, Dono, don't push it. Take a few days off to get your strength back. You need a holiday, as the rest of your staff enjoyed. I'm thinking, Florida maybe. Miami, sure. Jump down there, book a car out of Alamo at the airport, stick a SeaWorld brochure in your shirt pocket, put on a pair of mouse ears, and take her down the freeway singing, Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles, you know. Just kidding, Dono. Just kidding. Don't get your shorts in a knot. I don't know what's going on down there, but remember when their tour slogan was, come on down? Well, now it's, cover me, Inga. I'm making a break for Daytona. Anyway, I'm glad you're feeling better, Donnie. Issue 2, the late-night TV wars. Have you seen the Chevy Chase show? Is he, okay? Because I'm watching him, and all I could think about was poor old Dan Quayle when he sputtered out that wasting mind is a terrible brain to have fall out of your head, or whatever the hell it was he said in that infamous screw-up, remember? I mean, Chevy Chase is probably a nice enough guy, but Jesus... Maybe when he's doing all those satires of Jerry Ford without a helmet, he should have worn a helmet a time or two himself, huh? If he's lucky, the moron's next late-night show will be an infomercial for Color Match Auto Wax. You know, Fox would have had a better prospect giving the show to Al Gore, judging from his performance on Letterman the other night. Although Letterman's so good, he could get shtick out of Hervé Villechaize. No. Believe me, with Letterman there, this war is going to be over faster than Operation Desert Storm. All right, what else? Oh, yes, issue 4. Jocelyn Elders, Surgeon General. Did you see her in her official photo, Navy uniform? She looks like she ought to be blowing a whistle at handsome cabs outside the plaza. Hey, Doc, look at the food group label once in a while, huh? Hello, I'm Surgeon General Jocelyn Elders. You gonna eat all that? Issue 5, Virgin Mary, wherefore art thou? Or, guess who's not coming to dinner? The Trenton, New Jersey Catholic Diocese declaring the fellow who's been seeing the Virgin Mary once a month in his backyard was not experiencing a miracle. I have a copy of their formal conclusion right here. It's very brief, so let me just read it to you. He's a f***ing nut. Okay, final matter. Your new Cleveland, Ohio affiliate, 3WE, you know, the station that dumps out of the first 15 minutes of every hour of your program? The 3 W's don't exactly stand for we want to win, do they? Because the way they're going, they're about one more savvy programming decision away from being a bathhouse. And that's the world through this stick's eye. Richard Nixon, former president of the United States. Thank you.
8:39, 21 minutes until 9 o'clock, Imus in the morning. And joining us on the telephone now from the Boston Globe, from Green.
Scotzo here with you, live from Planet Hollywood on the station where rock lives, WNEW-FM. Of course, the big news, the I-Man returning live to the airwaves, a blessing from the gods, giving us a break from that magic known as the best of Imus. Man, talk about dredging up stuff from the bottom. I mean, when you start regurgitating Carvel bits from the early 80s, there was a Geraldo Santana banana left over from NBC. Jesus, I even heard a poem from Mr. T. I tell you, I think I have an idea just what put old Hervé Villechaize over the edge. He'd been listening to the best of Imus for the past 5 weeks. That's a shame, huh? Tattoo pulls his own plug. Why? Because he could only get small roles? Well, what do you want? You're a f***ing midget. Lighten up. At least you're guaranteed a few weeks' work every Christmas. But unless somebody puts together an old dwarf production of Death of a Salesman, you're going to have to settle for riding shotgun in a pointy hat with Snow White in the Macy's parade. Apparently, the details are sketchy as to what exactly happened, but my money is on the scenario where Hervé writes his suicide note on one of those stick-up Post-it deals and then throws himself off a stoop. I tell you who should consider offing himself, Chevy Chase. Man, he's Chevy Chase, you're not, and aren't you relieved? Guess there'll be another Percodan addiction in his future, huh? Oh, boy, you couldn't get much lamer than that. Unless, of course, you turned on Leno or Arsenio. What's the deal with Jay's chin, huh? he turns sideways and his mouth just disappears completely. Which is just as well, because nothing funny's coming out of it anyway. You know that stuff he does between the nightly monologue and the first guest is so lame, it would make even Steve Allen cringe. Watching him gives me the same feeling I used to get as a teenager when my father used to try and talk hip and be funny in front of my friends. But at least he's easier to take than Arsenio, a guy who'd make an insurance salesman look sincere. And that hip-hop street vernacular of his comes across as naturally as it would coming from a middle-aged white guy. Woo, woo, woo. Shanice is in the house. Yeah, well, it's just too bad nobody's home upstairs. I've never seen anything more impossibly stupid as the time he interviewed Brooke Shields and asked her, what does Brooke Shields do for fun? Ooh, look out, Ted Koppel. What do you think she does for fun, bullethead? Logarithms? You know, instead of spending all your money on a wardrobe that makes you look like the fry cook at a McDonald's on Pluto, why don't you just spring for a new set of teeth? Because the ones you have now are pretty worn down from all those years of kissing Eddie Murphy's ass. But you ask me, the late-night wars are nothing compared to the latest revelation. Julia Roberts married Lyle Lovett because he reminds her of Abraham Lincoln. What does he do? Come to bed with a stovepipe hat over his boner? Walk around the house and give the maids the day off? Guess there's hope for the I-Man after all. All we need now is to find a chick whose role model is Abraham from the Bible.
You know, if life were... Mike Barnacle, Boston Globe. Regional editor, NewsHour, Jim Lahren. Yada, yada, yada. The man. He is the man.
This morning's Radio Bermuda broadcast is excellent yesterday, Don. He did a terrific job, and it is a 50-50 partnership, the Mike and the Mad Dog program.
There you go, Mike.
And
we love each other.
And it always has been, and we are going to set up a little internship for your son, Don, to come and be a part of our program as soon as he wants, and let him learn the real side of sports.
Because Mike and I are going to be together for a long, long time, Don.
At least another month.
Not if Mike has anything to say about it.
Now, Dog.
Yeah, Mike.
Now, listen. Yesterday I heard that you disparaged not only Charles McCord,
right,
but his son, Les.
Correct.
And disparaged their teacher, David Fair.
Correct.
I have received some information here. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
David Fair.
Well, first of all, you said that David Fair went down there to Rollins College, right?
Right.
And that wasn't even on the tennis team.
He played doubles. He was number 8 on the team. He was not a factor.
Well,
all right, stand by. Go ahead.
Here we go. I have been enlisted by the McCord family, Dog, to give you the following information.
Let's hear it.
Wrong like always. Are you ready? Not only was he a member of the Rollins tennis team, but David Fair was the team's captain.
What year?
Match record, 83-17 in singles, 75-25 in doubles. Wait a second. Holds the Rollins College record for consecutive dual meet matches at 23 and 22 in a row, respectively. NCAA Division II Senior Player of the Year, runner-up in the nation.
What year is this?
What difference does it make? What year was it? We don't know. Probably 87.
I don't know the year, but they said the only
find a year.
The only match he lost was to Seguso and Flack, they said.
That is... He's crazy. Give me a year, please.
Well, what difference does it make?
Because I know... My best buddy was the second best player on our team. He said that Fair played a little doubles, and that was the end of it.
Here's what he says here. David Fair, 83-17 in singles, says... and he is now the North Jersey Country Club pro. He not only will kick your rear end, Dog, but Les will...
17, he better kick my face.
But he says you won't get a game off Les.
You know what the deal is here, though?
Let me hear it, Don.
We don't. All we have is what McCord says.
Absolutely.
With his panty-wearing friend of his, David Fair, who I've met, by the way.
Mike, tell Don.
Yes.
Do I know Steve Spielman well?
Yes.
Did Steve Spielman? Well, you don't know this, but you've met Spielman. Did Spielman tell you personally?
He was
that the guy was 106 and
106-5 at Rollins.
4 years at tennis.
Yes, what he told me.
And I've been told from Spielman that Fear played there, and Fear played a little doubles and was not a factor.
Well, one thing, either you're very wrong, dog, or Fair is the biggest liar we've ever met.
Yeah, I mean...
He says he's 83 and 17 in singles.
Cut it out. And Chuck now...
By the way, Chris, there ought to be a way to check this, shouldn't there?
Yes, there should. I'll make some calls.
I hear now.
And how about Chuck all of a sudden, Don, kissing Rollins' fanny?
Well...
He begged me to get his kid into that school 5 years ago.
And he's still there.
And will be. Will be for a few more years.
He's following in your footprints. 8 years.
Joining us now, Bill from White Plains. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, I-Man.
How are you?
It's Bill from White Plains.
I know that, yes.
Boy, after listening to the last couple of minutes, you can understand why Mike and the Mad Dog is so successful. I've been on with you before, I-Man.
I know that.
I know sometimes you forget things.
Well...
Like the time you forgot to buy Francesca that Porsche. I know Mike's filling in today, but where's Warner? What, did he fall and break his hip?
He got lost on the way here.
It's a shame he's going to miss that 65th year high school reunion of his coming up. But Francesca, he's a real good choice to be on the show, I-Man.
Thank you.
Because he has something in common with Breen.
What would that be?
They both work with someone they hate. You know, Francesca was late this morning, but don't get mad at him. He had a good excuse, I-Man.
What was that?
He got pulled over by the cops because they thought the airbag released.
Oh, man.
You like that one, Doug, huh?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, again, congratulations on the impending birth of your son.
Thank you very much, Bill.
It took a lot of courage for your wife to do that.
What do you mean?
Well, it's obvious what she had to do to have this kid. I got 2 words of advice for her if she wants another kid.
Yes.
Artificial insemination.
Is that about it, Bill?
Good talking to you.
Bill from White Plains on the Happy Sunday Morning program.
You know, Don, I'd fire Breen and hire that Bill full time.
Hey, Mad Dog.
Yeah, Donnie.
Did you watch the game last night?
I sure did.
No, Francesca was in there screaming.
Wasn't screaming.
Well, not screaming, but he was...
I talked to Mike at halftime. I didn't hear him talk to me after the game. What did he say? Mike?
Well, he was mildly exercised that Phil Jackson had left Steve Kerr in at the end of the game instead of putting in Alex Hunter, whatever his name was.
Ron
Harper, yeah.
One of those guys, Don.
That's the second time, as Mike knows, Don, that's the second time he's done that hurt him. But to me, the one theme I would say about that game to me is that Jordan is now mortal. He's not as good in these last-second spots as he used to be. He doesn't make that big-time shot as much. We've seen it now in this series.
Guy's 57 years old. I mean,
That's true. But they realize, Mike, I don't know if Mike would agree with that. I don't know if he's talked about that, but that to me is a very big factor. He's not as miraculous, Mike, as he used to be.
Well, they're having a little problem with that right now. Plus, they turn the ball over a lot in overtime. And I think that Stockton just had one of the great games that he's had in a long time. Really, best game I've seen him play in years for Stockton last night.
You know what, too, Don?
I really thought they had too many white guys to be two bulls, but...
Give Malone credit. Malone didn't do anything. It was terrible. And then he had the guts to make those 2 shots.
Well, he didn't have the guts. He just lucked out and they went in.
Well, Don, he took them, didn't he?
I understand that, but he couldn't hit the backboard all night. Yep. So, look, the guy was 9 for 40.
They're down again, Mike, knowing every little...
Hey, guess what?
Nook and cranny of this game.
Chris.
Yeah, Don.
I went out in the kitchen last night at 9:30.
Right.
My wife was out there. She's 82 months pregnant.
Right.
I mean, we're having this baby in just any time.
Hey, she told you about an injury, right?
I went out in the kitchen. She's chopping up fruit, and she has the game on, and she gave me an injury update. How's that the kind of wife to have or what?
Boy, oh boy.
How great is that?
That is tremendous.
Don got there 1 minute too early, though, because she didn't have time to put the strychnine in.
I took one look and I was fractured. I tried to walk, but I was lame. I tried to talk, but I just stuttered. Why, what's your name?
your name? What's your name?
Imus in the morning.
As full an observation on headline issues of the day, Imus in Washington's senior political analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon.
Who heard Imus in the morning? My cable news network counterpart on your very fine program just the other day, CNN senior political analyst Jeffrey Greenfield. Very damaging, Dono. Very damaging. Why do you need to hear from Jeff when you already have me?
Well,
what am I, dog do?
No.
Just because I'm dead, I'm suddenly relegated to the scrap heap of pundits? Well, F you ingrate. Now then, let's push straight into the very compelling matters of the day. Is that okay, you unappreciative, thankless derelict? Very well. Issue number one, then. The co-host of Access Hollywood, Sioux Falls' own Pat O'Brien, now vying for top honors as the worst radio guest since the advent of the vacuum tube. God, by the time he left your program during your broadcast from Sioux Falls, that room looked as though somebody had laid down a fog of anthrax in the place. Was he there to entertain or to goose up the body count?
Well,
dreadful, man. And Jesus, an audience assassin. Terrible, seeing all those people face down in their soufflés, murdered by that buffoon just as surely as if he'd beaten each one of them individually with a tire iron. Oh, well, speaking of untimely deaths, congratulations to the Vatican's Swiss Guard, eh?
No.
Finally showing a little spunk.
No.
Those sissies in the pantaloons and knee socks who wear the lace and those inverted cantaloupe halves on their heads. You know what we call people who dress like that over here?
No.
Transvestites. So one of them got honked off and blew away his superior officer, huh? You know what we call people who do that over here?
No.
Postal workers. Well, anyway, most unfortunate. The Pope is said to be beside himself as head of the Vatican State. You know how our head of state handles distressing events over here?
No.
With the now familiar command, Betty, call Moniker. Say, speaking of that, Dono, I know I'm just a little freaky, I acknowledge, but I get turned on every time I see little Susie McDougal all trussed up in those chains, don't you? And you know what? I think Ken Starr does, too. I mean, they do not have to parade her around like that, but I think he digs it. That's why he's indicted her again, in my view. It's a bondage deal. You check the next time they're in close proximity somewhere. If he's there and she's there, bound hand and foot like that, Star's got a bone, trust me. Viagra? Don't need it. Get me a recidivist in restraints. What an idiot.
Yes.
Oh, and that reminds me, idiot. Dan Burton. The coincidence is not lost on me, dude, that this most cerebrally challenged of individuals represents the state of Indiana. For who else represented the state of Indiana? Dan Quayle. Is it in the f***ing water out there or what? Do they raise dumb corn? Christ. Burton releases these Webb Hubble phone tapes that have been edited heavier than my tapes were. Remember the Rosemary Wood 18 missing minutes? Then he expects somebody, anybody, to take him seriously. Jesus. Analyst Greenfield made a wonderful observation on your show that Bubber Clinton has been extraordinarily lucky in the kinds of people who are his opponents. If I may turn a familiar phrase on its ear, with enemies like this, who needs friends? You get it? You see, their enemies suck to the point that they really function as though they... forget it. A most convoluted view in the Dick Scope today, dude, from Dick Nixon, the original senior political analyst and former president of the United States.
They are, and here once again, Chris Mad Dog Russo.
Good morning, Don.
How are you?
Don, is Charles there?
Yeah. No, Charles left.
I just checked, my friend, on this David Fair nonsense that Charles thinks because his kid took a couple of lessons from him is, the second coming of John McEnroe at Rollins College.
Okay.
This guy, my best buddy, was a Division II All-American, was there for 4 years, was 106-6.
Yeah.
Fair was 1 year behind him.
Mm-hmm.
You could put it in the bank. David Fair, if he was 83-17, my name is Gandhi, okay? Not the case. David Fair played nut squad doubles. Charles, you know what nut squad doubles is?
No, sir, I don't.
Nut squad double is when the match is won, they let him go out there and hit the ball a little bit for a few minutes.
Well, now, no. Here's the thing, though.
This is all easy to check.
This is all very easy to check, Chris.
I checked it with the guy who was the Division II All-American who was on the team, the captain, the MVP of the team.
Yeah, but there must...
Fair. David Fair is a figment of his imagination.
There must
Put that in the bank and smoke it.
There must be.
There's a disparity.
School records available.
Of course.
Wouldn't you think?
But no, I don't know. What other school record do you need?
Hey,
the MVP of the team, who I just got off the phone with, and he said, put it in the bank. If David Fair is telling Charles McCord,
have
how
Dana
was
come in here.
83-17, Don, we never played any singles?
We are going to check this morning.
Now,
we're going to call the school. That's the way to check it out.
Exactly. David
Yeah,
played singles and
so.
doubles in 1982 to 84, and just doubles in 1981.
He didn't even play singles, Charles.
Okay.
How can you sit there and say he's 83 and 17 when he didn't play any singles?
Okay.
Everybody plays doubles. Rollins won every damn match. You know what that's like, Charlie? That would like be putting me in a game on a decent team when I'm up 30 with a minute to go. Even I can't screw up.
Pat Cooper is here this morning.
Let me ask you a question. Your children today, with all due respect, have no common sense. Where do you get off going to school with a telephone? I couldn't get a wire hanger when I went to school. These kids got telephones, they got beepers. No wonder the teacher goes, why are your kids stupid? They don't learn. They got that damn beeper. That's why your kids are stupid. Then they got the summer break, winter break, your break, my break. The kids don't go to school. Why is my kid stupid? Because he don't go to school, you jerk. And you mothers and fathers, don't take him on vacation. Leave him in the yard. Let him ferment for a couple of days.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the Morning.
You met Rob,
I
right?
love Rob Bartlett. You know something? I've been dying to see this gentleman because everywhere I work, I either bump it, miss him, and...
It's not that great.
What do you want me to do? He got the job. You asking me?
But I mean,
I don't have a radio show that I got to turn around and say, I'm appearing on Imus. I got to thank God that Connie Francis is still breathing so I get a job.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
All right, girls, next model, please.
Good day, Master Rubens. I'm Heidi Van Horst, and I am so thrilled.
Mike Lupica interviewed my brother and then wrote it down. And then...
I think you're speaking far too disparagingly of your brother's book, which I found helpful.
And then Mike tried to fix it, and then I tried to fix it. Chuck tried to fix it. No one could fix it. Now it's your problem. Here is Patsy on line one with his impression of Fred in an effort to win the Fred book. Good morning, Patsy.
Good morning, man.
Let me hear your impression of Fred.
Wood.
Oh, well, see, that's not going to get it. Wood's not going to get it.
No,
More
I
on
gotta
face.
go.
But, well, no, it's just not good. Here's line two, John from Moore, Oklahoma. Good morning, John.
Well, everybody's copied my impression of Fred this morning.
Oh, they are?
So I guess I'll have to not do my foot. So,
Well, that's just not going to get it done.
No,
but Bernie asked me to think of something funny to say for you this morning.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, I thought, well, what could be the funniest thing I could think of today? And then it hit me. Fred.
Yeah.
But
You don't win either.
You know what? That's a good imitation right there.
It's
saying nothing
actually-
funny with a goober accent.
Okay, that's actually true. All right, put John on hold.
in the running.
So far, John is the winner. Hang on, John. All right, here's Marilyn from Shawnee, Kansas. Good morning, Marilyn.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi.
Let me hear your impression of my idiotic brother.
Well, how you doing?
Fine.
Okay, brother. Love you.
That's not too bad.
Well, don't blow me up, please.
Okay, put her on hold, may as well say. And now, here's our final contestant from Woodlands, Texas. Here's Priscilla. Good morning, Priscilla.
Good morning, Amy, and you're wonderful.
Yeah.
Your brother would say, hey, baby, do you want a cigarette before, or cigarette after, or cigarette during?
You don't win.
No,
Let's go back to John, line two. John?
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, John, you win your copy of the Fred book with your idiotic impression of my equally idiotic brother, who I do love, but, I mean, come on.
Well, he's my icon right after you.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. But the second funniest thing I was thinking I was going to tell you was that President Clinton has the most moral office.
We just don't have
This
time.
is Fred.
Now, Imus in the Morning 2020 Sports with Mark Green.
That was Fred. He wins.
Another high school star graduates to the NBA. Good morning, Mike Greenwood Sports.
Fred's not eligible to win his own book, is he?
What an idiot. And he thought we couldn't tell. Dumber than Fred. How do you get there?
Hey, wait a minute.
This sportscast sponsored by Hackensack University Medical Center. For the fourth time this year, a high school basketball star is skipping college and going directly to the pros. This guy, the latest, the best high school player in the country, he's from New Jersey, and his name is Al Harrington.
After considerable thought and conversation with my family, I've decided to bypass college and enter myself into the NBA draft.
And Harrington says money not a factor.
No, sir.
In his decision.
Well, what?
Keep it real, yo.
What was
Money not a factor, yo.
What was the decision? What was it based on?
To fulfill a lifelong dream.
There you go.
No, and the kid's 15 years old. He's had this lifelong dream for about 20 minutes.
He's already acting like a pro. He was a half hour late for his own press conference yesterday.
Is he any good?
6'9" forward will be a very high pick in the draft.
Okay. Have you seen him play? No.
Yes, I have.
Oh, yeah,
actually.
and?
He's very good.
Okay.
Perhaps at this time next year, he'll be playing in the NBA playoffs. Maybe even for the Knicks, who will fly to Indianapolis today for Game 5 against the Pacers tomorrow night. Knicks still smarting over the loss on Sunday, in which Reggie Miller hit that clutch three to force overtime. LJ, Larry Johnson, admitted the effect Miller's shot had on him in the overtime.
When Reg hit the shot, overtime, I was beaten. I'm not going to speak for the rest of the team, but, Jeff was saying it today. He hit that shot. We didn't regroup. We went out there at second half. Overtime as a beaten team. Now, I don't speak for the other guys, but I did.
There you go.
Another
Very
guy.
candid, LJ.
So somebody should have covered Reggie, right?
Yes.
High school.
And you told me that they talked about it in the huddle.
Yeah,
or whatever they had.
Same type of play happened to him.
He wins the contest.
That's a new winner.
A new winner. Larry Johnson also wins a copy of the Fred book.
Larry, call in.
Quick, Larry, call in.
Halftime or end of the game.
Yeah.
One. I wrote what book?
Week on the Discovery Channel.